It's daytime out, would you believe it? You might not also believe that we are back for another floodgate, 3 weeks in a row. It's actually crazy that this happened to me 3 weeks in a row. I'm most shocked that this happened 3 weeks in a row like this. But unfortunately, we are back with part 3, and this time I think it's even more secure. We talked last time about the wording that I'm using to try to make these people understand what we're talking about before the key. We had the timed is greater than completion thing in the title last time. A lot of people said that they might translate that literally and say that timed is literally greater than completion and that we're like stunting on completion. We don't even want to consider it because it's worse than timed or something like that. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. The reason that the word completion is in there is because when you list it as completion, it automatically puts the word completion in there. So that word's staying because it's still a completion key. It's listed as completion, but I'm adding words to it because I want to make it clear that I am going to try my best to time it. But if we don't, we are going to finish it. So it's the same situation here today, but we have changed the wording a little bit. So I'm putting timed, comma, if not, comma, completion. That's what we're going to go with here. So even more clear than last week. And the craziest part is we even have a conversation about it before the key starts, and it still goes this way. Like always, you can see the full run on either the stream or the spreadsheet if you would like, but here is the VOD from the stream, and you see I'm typing all this stuff in here. I'm even putting minimum rating requirements. So these people, 3,200 is the minimum. 15 timed, if not completion. I don't know what else I could say at this point. Lots of people sign up. I'm really shocked at how many people sign up. This was one of my biggest concerns was in the past when I try to do keys for completion, and when you say it's only for completion, there'll be very, very, very few people who sign up. But there's a lot more than you think there are, and we're going to come to that at the end here. So here we are again. I am typing out the thing. It's pretty much the exact same thing I typed out last week in last week's key. I obviously don't need this for score, but I would like to upgrade it to have a chance at a 16 I might need. But if we can't, I intend to finish it as I still need the currency and the trinket. But look at, there's actually response to it. There's conversation about it. And one of the guys featured in this conversation actually replies to it. He seems to see what is said, and for some reason replies that. He says perfect, which like, that's kind of all I need to see, but then he says go 15 plus plus. Like, what the fuck is that? I have no idea what he's saying there, so I don't know. Did he understand it? Maybe not. We talked about this last week about this language barrier thing, and I do think it's real. A lot of people are saying like they're not actually not understanding what you're saying, they're just rude and they just don't care and stuff, and I could see why you guys would say that. We've had a lot of problems with that too, but I also think they don't understand what I'm saying. I really do, because there's a lot of weird conversations that go on in this key after things fall apart that don't make any sense to me, so they make me think that this person has no idea what I'm saying. So this time, ultra clean. We don't even have a single mistake until right now. Yet again, bombs. Where have you seen this before? Here we go. Lots of bombs all around us, and this paladin is just literally standing directly on top of one, and I guess he just doesn't see it. He never even tries to move from it, so he just gets killed by that. We make a absolutely devastating error here, and that is battle resing the guy. Like, look at when we battle res him too, by the way. This mob has 50 million health left, and we use battle res, and he takes it. That will come into play, I promise you, because that is the only death. That is the only mistake up until the first boss here, and we were gonna have some problems on the first boss, but everything else super clean, looking like the best run out of the 3 we've showcased, that's for sure. So here's our second death of the run. It's gonna be the paladin again. He's gonna get the line here. Really strange death, because it looks like he gets ran over. I think he gets ran over here. He runs really far away, kind of in between both, and then like he like charges right as he's running away, and it stuns him, but then he moves again, and he just kind of panic moves back into the line. So he dies to the same mechanic basically, and we don't have a battle res. That was our only battle res. We have to wait a minute and a half, which is not untenable. So I'm thinking like, all right, let's just continue. A minute and a half, not that big of a deal. It's definitely not great, but we shouldn't lose the key to this at this point. But then you see the healer after the one death on the fight say GG, and then seemingly doesn't dispel the warlock. You see this? I didn't realize this in real time, but this warlock dies to this dot, and this is because the shaman fucking gives up after one death on a boss. Doesn't play the fight out, doesn't let us get to the point where we can battle res the person, and our second death is because of that. So at this point, I'm just like, all right, whatever, we'll just reset it. You can easily reset this boss. Boss like floats in the air. You see that? How weird is that? For some reason, the boss can't walk downstairs. You see, it's just like gliding down the stairs. Anyway, so we're just gonna reset it. Everybody agreed to a completion key. There's multiple layers. I was calling it 3-factor authentication. The key is listed as completion. I put completion in the title, and I confirmed with people people before the key that it's for completion, and we have an abandoned instance vote. The hunter then says reset question mark. My response, no, as mentioned, I intend to complete it. Did you guys forget already? Like, I mean, the hunter literally confirmed it, right? So I'm really confused by this comment. Then the hunter replies, and this is what I'm saying. I'm talking about this being like a language barrier because the things that get said in this key by this hunter make no sense to me whatsoever. The hunter replies and says all G. Then the shaman says why? Like, what do you mean why? I typed a whole fucking paragraph about it. So I typed the paragraph again. I said, that's the message I sent at the start. Did you not read it? Honestly, at any point in this whole thing, if the guy's just like, hey, listen, I didn't read it. It's my bad, but I don't want to do this key. I would have a totally different opinion about this. But somehow, these people who missed 3-factor authentication on this key being a completion never take responsibility for that fact once. So here's where it starts getting weird. This is going to become a channel meme, I can already tell. I think it already is. The hunter, his response is bless. What the fuck does that mean? He says that like 3 times. Okay, the shaman now says virtual kidnapping. Yeah, that's how that works. I said, you agreed to completion. It was in the title and I sent a message. So please learn from this from the next time you sign up to a completion key. It's just crazy that you won't learn from this and that you refuse to admit that you had many opportunities to leave this key. I type the same thing every time. If you don't want to be in this key, then you can leave, and nobody ever leaves. There's only been one person who's left a key like this so far. So the hunter is just AFK back there. I said, let's relax and get this done. And he says K, but he's just AFK. He's just not coming. So it's like, I don't, like, does he not understand what I'm saying? I really don't know what to say. I'm trying to give these people as much benefit of the doubt as possible. The shaman's here and actually playing though. The hunter's not. So it's like getting really weird because the shaman's mad. He's going to ultimately insult me and be the person who targets me the most. But the hunter just seems to have no idea what's happening or something like that. But we continue to throw up abandoned instance votes like on cooldown, I guess. So the hunter now says go, and now they're coming, I guess. So we're gonna do it again. And some people in the stream thought that at this point the people who die are dying on purpose. Like the hunter's gonna be the first to go down, and he's just standing in melee range. So yeah, I guess so. I guess I see what your point is now. He's just standing in melee range and just gets hit by a line. I mean, he's doing damage though. He did 6 million DPS at that point, so I don't know. We res him. I try to carry on. The shaman makes another comment saying can't heal insta kill. We just don't get all the bombs. So one explodes and then the hunter just like bleeds out, but he doesn't die to the dot. I guess he dies to what comes after the dot. Hard to tell where he is. I think he's the person right above the K, and Key's a quick fuse right now, and he must walk into the bomb dropping or something like that. I have no idea why this guy's in melee range, but anyway, yeah, that's going to be the second death for the hunter now. And then again, we're just not going to get all the bombs. Paladin has the debuff for like ever again, and it just doesn't get dispelled. So again, shaman's like just not doing the mechanics, giving up, I guess, and we're going to wipe to that. So now the hunter is pinging himself being dead for some reason and says bless. Like, what is going on in this key? I really don't know. People were thinking that he doesn't know the word for resurrect, and he's saying bless instead of resurrect. He says bless, please. Like, what the fuck is he saying? I have no idea. I said, what does bless mean? We never get a response. This one time, there's got to be some kind of crazy language barrier, right? It has to be. Now, a weird comment comes in from the shaman here. He says, what is the deserter time? Nobody answers him, and then he just says crazy. Is that the time? Now he's mad at me for trying to do a completion key that I listed and made clear. He says, run 10 for trinkets. I said, no, I need to change the key too. I might as well try for the trinket while I do that. I said, no offense, but you guys really just don't pay attention or know how to read. So this is really your fault. The hunter says, okay. The shaman says, okay, can't without this huntard, which is obviously false. I don't know why this guy keeps giving up. We could easily have finished this fight the first time we came through, just spamming GGG. I said, this is not good game. This is the definition of bad game. And then instead of admitting the fact that the guy had 3 opportunities to notice that the key was from completion, he says, it's not my fault. Unbelievable. I mean, what more do you need to see here? We keep pinging him, and then he just says, bless. This part confuses me a little bit. He says, just regroup. So I'm thinking he means like we can continue now that the hunter's alive, because he seemed to have the primary concern being the hunter. So I do a ready check, and it fails. The guy says no, and then we do another vote to abandon. Like every on cooldown, pretty much we're doing that. All right, everybody's here. Let's just do the fight, right? That's what I'm thinking they mean. Then he says warlock and death knight. So I think what he actually meant was to say like, you two go do the dungeon without us, is what he's saying. But so they are actually just going to sit outside the wall and refuse to participate this time. Both him and the hunter this time. The hunter also is out there. I think this is funny. The line is on the shaman and the bomb is on the hunter. And the hunter doesn't want to die, so he's going to turtle. Look at that. He turtles it. The shaman gets ran over by the charge. Meanwhile, if you just tried to do the fight, we'd be done. I mean, if they just actually participated in the dungeon, we would be pretty much done at this point. Now, this is funny because I start saying this, and then then wait till tomorrow's video. I'm talking about these people acting like children over this misunderstanding, which is exactly what this is. Wait till you see tomorrow's video, dude. You want to see somebody act like a child? I've never seen worse than what's coming tomorrow. And the response from the shaman is, I'm new, obviously lying. And then the hunter's response is, GG Zada. You should have stuck with bless. That was at least funny. Shaman has one more comment to make before we're done, saying, nobody wants to play. Only the Death Knight. The witch only supports him because he sucks his dick. What a great response. This was in response to, why are you guys acting like children, by the way. That's his response. I asked him, I'd like to understand this better to avoid this happening in the future. Can you explain why you joined a key titled completion? If the reason is I simply didn't see it, then I will potentially try to change things. I just need an actual answer, and I don't get one, and I don't know what to do about that. Instead, I get this bullshit. He says, you're the only fool who does a 15 for a WTF item. What does that even mean? Maybe so, but I did make it clear. So why did you not speak up before? And the shaman's response is, shut up. All right. One more time, though, I said, can you answer the question, though, please? I want to avoid this happening in the future, and I don't know what to do differently. And his response is, my future will be to travel the world on a motorcycle. Yeah, okay, tell me there's no language barrier. Anyway, we're not done actually reading the chat. I said one more time, what was the reason you signed up to a completion key? He doesn't answer it and just says, you're just bothering us because you don't have any friends and you kidnap us. Okay. It went further. We went from hostage to kidnapping. Is that elevation or is that de-escalation? I'm not really sure. You guys tell me. It's so ironic that we keep running into this floodgate. My theory is the reason this keeps happening is because this key is just really hard to upgrade. If this happened in EDA, it would be done. Like, there would be no arguments. There would be no conversation. Even if we did wipe, people would be like, oh, it's the easiest dungeon, let's just finish it. And that's the main reason why I want to change it. Like, in case it's not clear on why I'm so hell-bent on changing this key, it's because it's very unlikely that we're actually going to upgrade this into a 16. I could be doing this dungeon for the rest of the week and not get a 16 out of this. And at this point, I only needed, I think 4. We still needed 4? No, I think at this point we only needed 3 16s. So this is really unlikely that I actually upgrade this into a 16. And if you're not clear why I'm doing this in the first place, it's because I can't get any invites to the 16s I need. Sometimes we sit there for 30, 40 minutes and don't get an invite, or there's just no key listed that we actually need for score. This preponderance that you can only do keys for score, I don't know what world you guys are living in, but at least for me, currently in this season, it's just not possible. If I wanted to only do keys for score, I would not be able to do keys for potentially hours. So my only real option here is to fiddle with my key. Thankfully, it's resilient 15, so I have a chance to upgrade the 15 into the 16. That's what we're trying to do, but Floodgate is so unlikely to happen that I am trying to change it, but I need the gear from it. So instead of trying to change it by doing somebody else's key, I'll just finish mine, get the completed Floodgate 15 if we don't time it, which is very likely, and then I'll do that key. And that's exactly what we do in this stream. And we upgrade the 15 gambit that we get from it, and it doesn't turn into a key we need for score. So now again, I'm stuck with the 16 I don't need for score, right? This is the world that we're living in, and this weird denial that like the only reason to ever do a key is for score is just simply incorrect. But I do want to show you, because we do it again, back to back. Last week, there was some guy who commented saying that nobody would ever be okay with this, and this will happen in every time I do this. So pay attention to this guy's name, Leon Sniper. We're going to see him in tomorrow's video as well, which is interesting. But regardless, he's in this key here. We agreed for completion. I'm typing the same thing out again. The Death Knight DPS says, I'm cool with completion. Do you want me to roll tank loot spec? Whoa. So that guy's not only willing to help me finish the key, but he's also willing to help me get the item, which would be huge because then I would have to worry about this a lot less. Hunter says, I'm fine with that. Paladin says, no problem. Now the Demon Hunter doesn't respond at first. After like a minute goes by, I said, are you good with that or what? And he says, all good, which is a little suspect because doesn't reply directly to the conversation. Makes me think, again, he doesn't understand what's being said here. This key was likely never going to be in time. We do have a couple deaths, but it's just DPS is just quite low in this group, frankly. But it's all good. I appreciate everybody sticking it out. But we do have a notable moment in this key as well. The Demon Hunter is going to die and go offline, I guess. I was under the impression that it might not be an intentional DC, but seconds before this happens, like literally like 3 seconds before this happens, he's casting I-Beam and doing spells, and he's just standing there. And then I think the waves just wash over him, and then at that point, he's gone. He pulls the plug or goes offline while he's dead. Within like 10 seconds of dying, so like 13 seconds after doing spells, he's now offline. So that's likely a plug pull. And again, in response to the comment that nobody would ever want to stay for a key that's over time, look at this. Not only are we going to finish this key with one guy offline, but we're going to finish it way over time. And we actually do have a lot of problems leading up to the boss pull. We effectively have a full wipe. I think it's not even a full wipe. I think it's more than 5 deaths to this pack. The Death Knight just dies. Paladin's gonna go down, I think, to the Dispellable debuff, but he's dead. So now the healer's dead. The Hunter dies too. Death Knight gonna die again. I get the debuff. Hunter comes back, dies again. So we're up to 14 deaths now, and that's where we're gonna end. Yeah, so 14 deaths we added, and nobody leaves. This is the social contract we talked about. Like, I asked these guys to do something. We did it. That's it. That's all that needs to happen. The communication should have been enough the whole time, and it somehow wasn't in the previous groups. And not only was it not, but I get insulted for trying to have it. So we finish it. I said, thanks for finishing the key. It means a lot. And it really does. Paladin says, no problem, bro. Good luck. No problem from the Hunter as well. And again, stay tuned for that Hunter. So that's it. Be warned. Do you want people like that Hunter, the first Hunter? Do you want people who saying bless while they're dead in the middle of the fight? Do you want them in your key? Do you want the shaman in the key who's going to misunderstand the situation, refuse to take responsibility, and then insult you for it? Up to you guys. You guys have all the info now. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Tomorrow's going to be even crazier. We'll see you guys in the next one.